They ask how I get that ooh.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
What's goody YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to yet another live reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave your comments down below, and enjoy this reaction video. What's goody YouTube? What's good, TMR gang? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another live reaction video. I'm your girl, TMR. Thank y'all so much for stopping what you were doing and meet me on this daggone break room, y'all. Oh boy. All right, y'all. Y'all see the title. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Happy Sunday evening to you all. Hope everybody's good and doing great. If you have not heard yet, on Thursday of last week, a very tragic, unthinkable incident happened at a East Point McDonald's in Detroit, where a coworker unalived her manager based off information that the person, the young lady, her name is Afina McDonald, or Mohammed, excuse me, not McDonald, Afina Mohammed, unalived her manager, Jennifer Williams, because Afina, the young lady, 26 years old, the woman, the manager, 39 years old, single mother of 6 children ranging from the ages of 5 to 20, stated that she was being bullied by her manager. And so this incident has caused a lot of online debate. You know, there are some people that is making Afina, the woman that's in custody now for unaliving her manager, some type of folk hero at this point. And then there's people on the other end of the spectrum that was like, there's no, like this, the unaliving was senseless. So I felt like it would be a conversation that we all could kind of talk about or listen to other people's thoughts about, because like I said, it's definitely striking an online debate. One thing I will start off by saying is mental illness is very real. We all know this. And based off what I've seen of Afina, the young lady that unalived her manager, she definitely was battling with some demons. She has an Instagram, and her Instagram is a very telling story. And some people might say, well, child, it's a job at McDonald's. But, you know, at the end of the day, money is money, right? All money adds up. But this woman, the deceased, Miss Jennifer, she had been employed at McDonald's for 15 years. And she said she was 39, so she had been there since, she's in her early 20s. So she basically built a career working there. I'm pretty sure when she got hired 15 years ago, she didn't get hired as a manager. She got hired as a crew worker, and based off her work ethic, she was able to get promoted to a manager position. Yeah, her page is very disturbing, Susie. I couldn't watch a lot of it because it wasn't sitting right in my spirit. So I was just like, you know, it was a lot to take in. The name of her Instagram is like something like Rising Phoenix, something to that nature. But she had did a video a couple of days before this saying that the manager was sending her home early and she got stuff to do. I think she was living in a situation where she had a roommate. it sounded like, not only was she struggling mentally, but she was struggling financially too. And, a lot of times when people have struggles financially, it affects their mental, obviously. And, but I don't, but the part that some people are not catching or are not aware of, Athena was already on probation for another stabbing at another job that she had, where she got into an altercation with someone at work. So once I heard that, I was like, whoa, whoa. So she was a habitual, you know. Like I said, you guys, when it comes to going to work, no matter if you're working at McDonald's or you working for Apple, when you go to work, there are expectations of you as an employee of that job. No matter whatever your position is, if you work in the kitchen, if you're the cook, if you're a customer service rep, CEO, CFO, whatever your job title is, everybody has a position that they must uphold to in order to continuously work at that job. And maybe in my mind, maybe this Athena lady took the manager reprimanded her for behaviors as being bullied because she was telling her, things that she was doing at work. Because if you would look at her Instagram, like she has reels that she was posting where she's supposed, she's in the freezer area, so I guess somebody maybe told her to go get some fries, and she's filming TikTok reels and Instagram reels, and you're on the clock. And y'all know that's a big thing with jobs now, with having your phone out at work, because people are obviously, as we know, get very distracted by social media. And so that's a big thing with companies about having your phone out while you're on the clock. So what I want to do is I want to play a couple of the news stories about this situation. Very, very tragic, because at the end of the day, two families have lost somebody. Obviously, Athena is in custody. She got a bond set for $25 million. Me personally, I don't feel like that's a, 25 million. I mean, you took somebody's life. Apparently she was being sent home early in her shift, and she was upset about it. This particular day, Thursday, I guess she went in on her off day to make up hours, and something happened. It was during the morning shift. Something happened, and the manager, Jennifer, told her to, told her to go home. She got mad. She left, went somewhere. She wasn't gone long, came back with a mask on and had a knife, and walked into the McDonald's and proceeded to stab this woman in the drive-thru area. And, here's the part. Obviously, the manager's family is distraught, losing, their loved one. But what about the people that witnessed that, the employees that witnessed that at work that day? What about their mental health? To sit there and witness somebody, a person you worked with every day being unalived. As you're, I couldn't believe it. Right. You said there was a few people under a post about her saying they worked there too, and they quit because of how nasty the manager was. Not saying this was right. However, you got to be careful. People are unstable. And that's true. Like I said, I myself have been in positions where I've had managers and supervisors that I did not like working with, micromanaged, and just, didn't get along with them. But did I ever think to come to work to end their life? No, because essentially to end your life, I just ended mine too. So, both of our lives are ended. So, yeah, I think most of us have had situations, even if it wasn't a supervisor or manager. Some of you guys have had coworkers, person in the same position as you that you're working closely with that you don't get along with. My thing is this, if her hours are being cut and she wasn't getting the money that she needed to survive, then that's when you obviously let the job go and go find a job that will give you the hours that you need to make sure that you can take care of yourself. So yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into this news story.
Heartbreaking loss for one Metro Detroit family dealing really with an unthinkable tragedy.
Karen, what began as a normal day at work quickly turned violent. A mother of 6 stabbed to death at an East Point McDonald's while doing her job.
And Fox News' Camille Amiri joining us live with the very latest. And Camille, we understand you've spoken now with the woman's family. I mean, it's hard to imagine what they're going through.
Yeah, I mean, we were here all day, and then family members started showing up this afternoon, one after another, all coming back to the scene of the crime. She has 6 children, as you said, ages 5 to 20, and some of the littlest ones were here. And let me tell you, it was absolutely heartbreaking.
My mom was a good person. She was a blessed mom anybody could ever ask for.
Jennifer Harris, a single mother of 6, a manager at McDonald's, fatally stabbed Thursday morning by one of her employees, according to police.
My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us.
It happened right before 8 o'clock at the McDonald's on 9 Mile in East Point.
From our understanding, it happened near the drive-through window inside of the building, so in the employee area.
Investigators say it started as a verbal dispute between Harris and her employee. Harris asked the woman to leave, but
she came back with a mask on her face, and the only thing I seen was her hands. That's how I knew it was her. And she started stabbing her. I tried to stop her. It was no stopping her. She stabbed her everywhere.
Police say a customer, a CPL holder in line at the drive-thru, witnessed the stabbing and shot his gun in the air, attempting to stop the crime. The suspect ran out of the fast food restaurant, the CPL holder getting out of his car and holding her at gunpoint until police arrived.
He absolutely did the right thing. He showed the, so to speak, heroism.
Harris's family members beside themselves with grief.
We met the lady and everything. I don't understand why she had to kill her. My mama was even good to her. She was good to everybody.
It's just so incredibly sad. The children's father is incarcerated. They told us that when we met with them earlier today. So it was just their mom and them. The suspect is 26 years old. And of course, we expect her to be arraigned possibly tomorrow or the next day, hoping to learn more about what led up to this. Meanwhile, Jennifer worked here. She went by the name of Gemma, and she worked here for 15 years. So, I mean, just a horrible, horrible story all around. There is absolutely nothing that makes sense about this. Reporting live in East Point, Camille Amiri, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, Camille, I know that Gemma and that other person had an argument today. The suspect comes back, stabbing her. But do we know if this was an ongoing fight beyond today between the two of them? Are family members saying anything about that?
They're not. I mean, we're going to hear more about that situation at the 6 o'clock show. But from every intents and purposes that we've been able to learn, that the suspect actually went out of her way to be nice to the children, all of them here at the McDonald's that hang out sometimes here. So you're going to hear more about that relationship at 6 o'clock, but they just can't understand this because they say it's so out of the blue, and what led up to this, why she did this, that of course remains to be seen. But of course, we'll have a lot more tonight at 6 o'clock. Back to you.
Certainly loss, so we feel.
Yeah, so so that's pretty much what happened. As far as if they had an ongoing beef, I don't think it was ever anything as far as beef. I'm just going to, that's an assumption of mine. I believe that the suspect, Afina, she did make some mention, like Jennifer, the lady that was the manager, she made some statements to the fact that the woman would come in there, Jennifer would come in there and make comments like, I'm gonna have to take my belt off and treat y'all like my kids. And Afina said, well, we are not your children. Don't talk to us like that. And, so like I said, y'all, unless you were there every day to witness what was going on, I'm pretty sure, I would like to hear, again, not upholding what Afina did by any means. Taking somebody's life, I don't think that wasn't the answer, because you definitely don't have any hours now because you're no longer employed. And then my question is, yes, we talked about that walk. Apparently, at a former job Afina had, she was already on probation for an altercation she had with another employee at another job that she had before this McDonald's job. I got a question though. With all this going on, has McDonald's released a statement yet? I would really like to know that. Has McDonald's released a statement? Losing a manager of their company. I don't know if this was a franchise or what. Obviously somebody owns this McDonald's. A lot of these McDonald's are franchised. Have they released a statement? I would be really curious I haven't seen anything. And that's what I say about these jobs. Like, you go to work and you do what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the day, everybody is still just an employee. You have some people that take their jobs, in my opinion, way too seriously, because at the end of the day, you leave this earth at the hands of being on the job. A lot of these companies, you always got to remember you're replaceable. Now, I'm not saying to go into a job and not handle yourself accordingly and not take your position at whatever company you're working at seriously, because if you want to, go up the ladder or get merit increases and stuff like that, you definitely need to handle yourself accordingly. But, I was just curious of why they hadn't released a statement. I did check a couple of YouTube videos at news switches to even see if a statement had been released, and I hadn't seen anything. And I thought that was kind of odd. I'm like, why haven't they released a statement? Give me just one moment, you guys. Excuse me, guys. Thank you so much for being patient. At this point, y'all, this story is it's viral. Why haven't they released a statement? So now I want to go over to TikTok. You guys, and I want you guys to listen to a lot of the online debate. I also want to play Afina's Instagram too. I want you guys to hear that as well. Give me just one moment. Wait a minute. Hold on, you guys. Okay. Work environment definitely is everything. Work environment definitely is everything.
I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in the store, disrespecting people, talk to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. I got sent home early yesterday. I got sent home early today by the same person. I'm telling you, she's a bully. This isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in the store, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. I got sent home early yesterday.
So this was a few days before the unaliving. Okay. So let me show you guys a couple of, we're going to watch a couple more videos. So this is one of her videos, Afina off of Instagram. Somebody had on TikTok. I'm telling y'all, TikTok, it'd be a lot going on TikTok.
Look, he always look at me a certain way or something, and I told him that I don't want to have sex. I told him that. So it's sometimes he would give me something to eat or something if I didn't make anyone on Instacart. I get that, but I told him I don't want him thinking that that I owe him that just because he do that for me. Sometimes I want him to think that I owe him sex. So now, after I told him that, it's he's been crying and crying and telling me he think I used him, dismissing everything that I do for him, dismissing the fact that he this condition that he's been going through for a long time and nobody can help him but me. I helped him get through it, and I cook, and I don't have money, but I still make money at work, but I don't have now. I'm still working to get in the car, and he feels like I owe him sex, and now he's mad and crying and trying to make me feel guilty. I need to just calm down. I'm gonna be okay. But I should have known.
So this was some videos on her Instagram. Clearly, she had a lot going on with her mentally. The person that she's talking about, I believe, was this roommate that she was living with. So I believe that's who she's talking about, this roommate. She mentioned that if she didn't make enough money on Instacart, I guess the roommate would give her food or maybe give her money so she can get something to eat. So it sounds like McDonald's wasn't her only job. She had another hustle. She was also into, I'm not saying she made money off of music, but she was into music. If you listen to her music, even the beats of it, I don't know, it felt very demonic to me. She also has this infatuation with the Chucky doll. Even her profile on Instagram, it's I believe it's the image of the Chucky doll. So she it's almost like she worshiped the Chucky doll. Very strange behavior. So let's go into another one.
She was tired. She really was tired. Her Instagram page told it all. Did y'all hear about this 26-year-old woman that unalived her McDonald's manager on yesterday in Detroit? Let me go ahead and give y'all the backstory and everything that I gathered. So if you go to her Instagram page, official Riz in Phoenix, you will see that she posted videos prior to the incident stating that the manager was bullying her and that she kept sending her home back to back and she got things to do. She also said that her manager would say little things like she got to pull her belt off for them because they act like her kids or something. And then she said that the manager was telling her about an incident when she pulled the pew up on her kids one time. So yesterday when she got to work and her manager sent her home, I guess that was her breaking point because she went home, came back with a skull cap or something up on her head and had a sharp item in her hand and went in there and jabbed the manager. Now, the reason why I said her Instagram told it all is because if you go on her Instagram and you look at those videos that she posted prior to this incident, you will see. Now, if you scroll on down, you will see that she had been battling with things in her life. Like she had her own demons that she was battling with, like from getting evicted to having a roommate, and the roommate want to make her have interactions with him and stuff, and she don't want to have interactions with him. Like she had been going through a lot, and her Instagram page really was a cry for help, but I guess no one never noticed it. And yeah, this the last two stories that she posted on her Instagram page. She said again, shaking my head. I said, nope, not today. Then she said, and laughing like it's funny. Now don't get in my comments and I'm trying to justify this whole situation because I am not. I am just simply saying that her Instagram told it all. It was actually a cry out for help. This whole situation is heartbreaking because two families are in pain. One person has lost their life and another one life have changed. She was tired, child. She really was tired. Her Instagram page told it all. Did y'all hear about this 26-year-old woman?
Hold on, y'all.
Exactly. Where do I start with this Afeni Badu Muhammad? Where do I start except for the fact that she just put Muslims back on the map? But where do I start except for the fact that, baby, she just put Muslims back on the map? Right? Yeah, she just did it. She just did it. Look at here, y'all. If you can't handle your job, you need to quit. You resign. You need to walk away. You need to walk away. I don't. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like that manager said. Well, hold on. A manager's job is to manage.
Yep.
A supervisor's job is to supervise.
Yeah.
They got somebody they got the answer to. When they answer to them people get them certain restrictions or
Right.
certain instructions for them to follow. A lot of times they might not be doing it the way they done told them to follow them, but guess what? They know what they're supposed to be doing if they want to keep their job. You understand what I'm saying? So you might dislike their tone. You might despise their directives. You may not like their instructions. You may not like the way they give orders. But guess what? They are designed that way for a reason, just like you are designed to be an employee for a reason. Sometimes you can't lead unless you learn how to follow. And a whole lot of y'all young people, y'all want to lead, and y'all ain't never learned how to follow nobody. And that's very unsettling. Why you then call the head office on that lady? Hmm? See, this is an example of the Bible. The Bible said, Judge not, he should be judged. And the reason about what happened on that job, I got to say on 2 in a row. This got to stop. She ain't nothing but a bully. She always coming to the job bringing negative energy, trying to treat us like our children. It's very disrespectful to us. Look, if you don't like your job, quit. Okay. Matter of fact, they didn't hire you because you said you like that job or you like the manager. They hired you because you applied the work. What's the problem? Because you're going to get a manager, you're going to get a supervisor, you're going to get a general manager, you're going to get a boss, you're going to get an owner, and you an employee. And as an employee, you ain't got but one job to do, what you told to do. And if you don't like being told what to do, then you don't need to be working for no employer. You don't need to be working for nobody who owns nothing. Because you know what? You need to be owning something yourself. Okay? At the end of the day, your job is to go work. Them people hire you to do a job. And this is what I don't understand right here. Did McDonald's not check her record? Baby, they said she done used a knife before. You understand? She done stabbed this woman 15 times. And then you got a customer who had to intervene, fire one shot up in the air, and they was legal to carry a concealed weapon. Fire one shot up in the air, and then hold her at gunpoint till the police got there. And literally happened was the manager sent her home. And she said the manager sent her home 2 days in a row and said she came in off day to make up the time that she lost because she got things to do. That's what she said. I said she did have something to do. If you're going to go up in McDonald's with a mask on.
So that was my question, y'all. The day that this unaliving happened was apparently Athena's off day. So you weren't even scheduled to work. So we know for most jobs, the hours are predicted on the hours are like from McDonald's. Their hours are predicted on sales, projected sales. A lot of times they use the projected sales from like this time last year. And if they're not making the money that they're predicting to make in those hours based versus the manpower, then they have to alleviate the manpower because essentially, as we all know, every job's objective is to make what? A profit. So apparently she wasn't even scheduled to work that day. So if she came to work and worked a couple of hours on her off day and was sent home early, you weren't even scheduled to work. So we know that happens especially in fast food restaurants. The hours for the employees is based off the sales. If they're not generating enough sales and they're what they use the word slow, then they have to do what? They have to alleviate some of the manpower that's on staff. It's not them targeting you, but that's their job as a manager or a shift lead or supervisor. It's their job to manage the bottom dollar. And apparently Athena wasn't even scheduled to work that day. So it wasn't like her projected hours were already added into for the day of how many man hours are on clock versus the sale. She wasn't even scheduled to be on the clock that day. You said the manager allowed her to come in to make up for the day before, and she still didn't act right. But that's what I'm saying. Even if she authorized for her to come in, if the sales are not, again, y'all, we don't know what happened because we weren't there. I mean, at this point, the deceased woman can't speak. Athena can tell her side of the story. But what can speak for Jennifer, the manager who lost her life, is the report. Whatever, like I just explained to you guys, the projected sales versus the man hours. That report itself can speak for itself. It could be a justification. Could be a justification of why she sent that girl home early.
With the intent, the premeditated intent. You said you went to the park, you thought about it. You went and got a knife. You go up in there with a mask on through the employee interest, and you stab your manager 15 times. And a customer see you, they fire warning shot to stop you. They hold you at gunpoint till the police get there. Wait a minute, you supposed to be big bad now. Why you put a mask on? Why you run? Come on now. on, this right here. I probably would have had some sympathy for her had it went another way. But this right here, this just wrong. Wrong. The manager has 6 kids. She leaves behind 6 children. Children say, "My mama give you the shit off her back." Now that's what they say. That's what they say. I don't know. You know, people, when folks die, people can say the best things about it. I don't know. Maybe she would. But according to this employee right here, she was no good person. She brought negative energy to work. She treated the people disrespectfully. You understand what I'm saying? And some people, some managers and supervisors can be very disrespectful. But at the same time, we can't use violence to respond to conflict. We cannot do that. I don't understand young people. Y'all feel entitled. Y'all feel like y'all can do what y'all want to do, when y'all want to do it, how y'all want to do it, the way y'all want to do it. It don't work that way. How you think we got to live this long? Okay, we had to learn how to follow some ground rules. This was very, this is sad. This tragic. This disturbing.
It is, and she's right. You know, I mean, it's not right, but sometimes, you just got to do what you got to do until you can do better, right? And here's my thing. If you were getting sent home based off whatever the reasons are, from my understanding, she was getting reprimanded because and we saw this, y'all, she's at work on the clock making TikTok videos and Instagram reels, and you're on the clock. And y'all know, anytime you work, most times people that you work with, you have their social media, right? So it was probably a majority of young folks, her age or younger, they're all sharing each other's social media. They see she just posted a TikTok, and she's supposed to have been going to the back to get French fries, and she on Instagram posting a reel in the freezer going to get French fries, and it could have been one of the coworkers probably told the manager, "Hey, Athena, wasn't she getting French fries? She just posted a video on TikTok with her McDonald's uniform on." So when she came back, she may have gotten in trouble for that. And see, that's the thing. You don't want people to tell you nothing, but when you go to work, you're supposed to do your job. If you don't want to do your job, then don't go to work. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all, that's essentially what it is. You don't want to do your job, then go to work. You can't get mad at somebody for asking you or demanding that you do what you got employed to do. But even with that being said, this is one of those videos where she's at work. She's supposed to be in there getting something out the cooler, and she's filming TikTok reels. But even with that being said, see, that's what I'm saying, y'all. When you're managing people, you got to always understand you're managing an assortment array of different personalities. And so you can't do for one that you don't do for other. You got to treat everybody the same. And like I said, I think this is a conversation that can be relatable to a lot of people, because we've all have maybe not all of us, but a vast majority of us have experience going to work, dealing with a manager, supervisor that doesn't know how to manage and supervise. Because we're not just going to say just because you're a manager and you got promoted position that you know how to do your job effectively. We're not going to say that, right? Just because you're the manager and they made you the manager don't mean you know how to manage. We're going to put that out on the table, because I myself have experienced situations where I've been under the leadership of people who definitely did not need that position because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to treat people. They don't know how to, handle adversity effectively. They have no skills with that. And apparently you're supposed to, when some jobs, they take you through that, managerial training and stuff like that. But I don't know, this right here, this situation definitely should have companies revising their managerial training to learn how to deal with all different aspects when it comes to people. Because a lot of times you don't know what people got going on in their personal lives, especially if they don't bring it to work, but it's still affecting them, but they're not saying it verbally. You don't know what people got going on.
Sober in love. Sober in love. Sober in love. Sober in love.
See, I don't know though. See this is what I be talking about. She in there talking about some. Everybody's doing a great job. Everybody's working, but bro, you in there recording videos for your reels, bro. You in there playing. So it's like you telling everybody on IG that you in there working hard, and she just on you for no reason, and then we see you in there playing, bro. And that's just what you recorded. That's what I'm saying, bro. You don't really know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm a manager myself. I'm pretty down to earth, bro. As long as you working, bro. Usually I'm chilling, like, but blatantly playing like that, bro. It's like. How you gonna be mad when she sent you home? You in there recording videos, bro, and the line wrapped around the building. You recording videos.
Sober in love. Sober in love.
Okay, I had to do a part 2 to this because I want to bring this level of awareness to the conversation as well, because there needs to be accountability on both parts of this situation. Again, if you notice that somebody, the way they walk, talk, dress, the certain things that they're fascinated with, their temperament, if you notice something ain't right with them up there, do not go picking with the motherfucking bear. I don't give a damn what neighborhood you come from, what your background, how many times you gonna fall and you ain't lose no wrecks. I don't give a fuck how hard you think you are. Just because that person come from middle class America and you come from the ghetto and you grew up fighting and you grew up tussling and you grew up hustling and you think that this person done had a prim proper silver spoon life, do not think that motherfucker will not get with you and do not think that. Y'all need to stop this notion where y'all think, oh, because I come from the ghetto, I'm super fucking hard and can't nobody see me. Yes, the fuck they can. Where you come from don't got nothing to do with another motherfucker's gangster. If you see somebody not mentally tapped in, do not go picking with them, yeah? Why are you gonna go fucking with somebody that everybody, oh, you can look in her eyes, you can look at that red hair, you can tell she was crazy. Why y'all fucking with crazy then? Like, you not only in yourself in danger, you're putting every last motherfucking employee that is in that place of business in danger. Because I promise you, there's been many instances of work.
Let me move on. She on here, she doing too much cussing. Girl, you could tell your side of the story with all that damn cussing now.
The shooting in Detroit is crazy. I don't care if the manager was bullying the girl. She didn't deserve to die. A lot of y'all are saying that. So you mean to tell me you're going to go out and kill everybody that bully you? It doesn't warrant that. I've had bad managers. I never thought about killing them. All across the board, the girl was in the wrong. I don't care if she had a bad manager. Sometimes you just need to quit a job and find something else. That lady has 6 kids, and now she's gone. Gone. The McDonald's shooting in Detroit is crazy. I don't care.
Oh, I want to hear what she got to say.
Sober in love. Sober in love. Sober in love. Sober in
love. I see why you going home early. You playing that horrible ass music. Did you make that song? Because it sounds like you made that bitch on a government Android in the basement or something, man. You need to be arrested. I see why you going home. Your manager probably saw your TikTok and Instagram, because this bitch got about 11K followers with her burnt out ass, bro. That shit crazy. It's always the burnt out motherfuckers with all the followers. But her page is not full of videos of her at work just goofing off, though. So I give her that. She probably was getting sent home with that horrible ass music. Because if I'm working with you and I gotta hear that shit, bitch, you going home. Fuck all that. At the end of the day, this bitch is wrong. Because like I said, I worked at McDonald's too. My boss, my manager was on whole shit too, giving out hours. Like, bro, you know what I did? I said, fuck you, and I quit. Why didn't you do the same? McDonald's so old school. Bitch, go work for Chick-fil-A. Go apply for Chrysler. You had so many goddamn other things you could have did besides stab your goddamn manager, man. So yeah, you wrong as hell. Now go ahead and go do your girlfriend time, bro. We'll see you in 25.
Approached Jennifer and began to stab her repeatedly. One of the customers in the drive-thru was witnessing the attack, and he pulled out his weapon and fired a few warning shots in the air. Those shots scared Afeni, and she ran out of the restaurant, but the customer followed her and held her at gunpoint until police came and arrested her. Before gruesome murder, Afeni had took to social media to complain about her manager, calling her a bully, saying that she was always sending her home early and that she was disrespectful to her and all the rest of the employees. Approached Jennifer and to stab her repeatedly. One of the customers in the drive-thru was witnessing the attack.
Oh, yeah. You got something to say to me? What are you saying? Oh, you want some of this? You want some of this?
Okay, I don't know what's that about.
You got something to say to me? What are you saying?
Like, yeah, you could have booked me again. You would never see.
She was tired, child. She was tired. Her Instagram page, she was tired, child.
All right, but y'all, that like I said, it's a lot of conversation on TikTok. AI is crazy. I'm like, wait, what's going on there? There is no way I would want to spend the rest of my life in prison because a manager sent me home permanently, not to prison permanently. I mean, I could agree with some of what these people were saying. I mean, at the end of the day, if you weren't getting the hours that you need, then go find another job. It's just that simple. Now your bond is set at $25 million. Even if you weren't sent home early from work, whatever money you were making from McDonald's, you weren't making $25 million a week or every 2 weeks. So you still are in a situation. Not only, rent is not an issue for her now. Her defense is an issue, which obviously she more than likely will get a public defender because she's indigent, because she's obviously no longer employed and don't have a job. And this woman, Jennifer, 6 kids, have no mother. And apparently the father of the children is incarcerated. So, my thing is this, that lady worked at McDonald's for 15 years. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a long time to work at McDonald's. I've never worked at McDonald's before. I worked at Burger King when I was in high school. And we had and y'all, this was many moons ago. But there were times where it was slow and it would be asked, did we want to, leave early? Or sometimes it wasn't even asked. It was just stated 1, 2, or 3 of us had to clock out because the sales weren't there. It wasn't enough sales and it was too many people on the clock. Never in my life did I think that I wanted to unalive my boss because I got to go home. And if I feel like I keep getting sent home, then obviously this job is not for me. But y'all, that's somebody who can think rationally. It's obvious Afeni couldn't think rationally. We saw some of this girl's Instagrams and things that she had going on. She wasn't in a rational state. Had she been in a rational state, do y'all think she would have committed that very irrational act where she left and came back? That was premeditated. Off the top, she left, thought about what she wanted to do, came back and acted on it. So, Jennifer, the manager, having 6 kids, and now these kids, don't have a mother, father incarcerated. I don't believe Afeni had any children. I haven't heard anybody say that. So I don't believe she had any children. You know, like I said, did Jennifer treat her unfairly? I mean, I can't minimize this lady's feelings. If she felt like she was bullied, I mean, she felt like maybe she was, because those were her feelings. I don't know. I'm not her. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the interactions of her and this manager. So, but that still doesn't justify you going in there, taking this woman's life. Not only that, subjecting all those other people, customers, employees, to that heinous act that they will never be able to erase out their head. Like they will forever, that vision will forever be in their head. And that's horrible. I mean, it's to the fact, you know, this is too, it's almost like it's being normalized. It happens way too often where people are going to work and doing things like this, like not just at McDonald's, but there's been, you know, we've heard of other situations where employees leave jobs and come back and you know, unalive half the staff because they had some vendetta with a coworker or a couple of coworkers or a supervisor, and they come in and just shoot up the whole place. Yeah, we've been seeing this happen, unfortunately, for years on, you know, on the news and things of that nature. So we've been seeing this happening. And you know what the sad part is about this? I wonder if that McDonald's opened the next day for work. I wonder. It was Virginia. It was she stabbed a coworker in Virginia at a Taco Bell. I wonder if did the McDonald's open the next day or did it open the day after? At the end of the day, that McDonald's resumed business because it's a business. And here's the thing with jobs. People come and go. People come and go at jobs. Most of us, the day after, so they resumed for business. This happened on Thursday, so they were back open on Friday. That's what I be talking about. But it's a business, y'all. You know, like as the old saying goes, the show must go on. They went back open yesterday, Saturday, so they were closed for 2 days. Okay. So oh God. Can you imagine going back to work after that? And here's the thing with McDonald's. They probably don't even have any grief counseling for those employees. I mean, as a company, especially for the people who were on staff that day or that morning, like I would have gave them a week off. Y'all go get your mental health together. Because I could just imagine witnessing that, being upfront would definitely mess with my mental health. But, you know, Erica, you say, you know, people could quit. You know, like I said, I don't know what the job market is in East Point, Michigan. East Point, that's a city in Detroit. I don't know what the job market is. I don't know if jobs are very plentiful there. I don't know if you could, you know, like right now, it's hard trying to find jobs. You know, even a McDonald's job is hard to get now. These companies are tightening up their budgets and they're not, you know, people are not. And here's another thing, you know, it used to be a time, y'all, and this was years ago. It used to be a time where you could quit a job at 9 o'clock in the morning and child before 4 o'clock in the evening on the same day, you would have another job. It don't work like that anymore. Like a lot what's going on now is this job ghosting. Like you'll put in resumes and submit resumes for jobs, and you may get an answer back. You may not get an answer back. And if you get an answer back, you know, you can go for an interview. It might be 2-3 weeks before you hear back. And a lot of times when you hear back, they decided to go with another candidate. You know, obviously, when you're interviewing and looking for jobs, you don't just stop at the first interview. You keep going until somebody sends you a job offer. So, you know, getting a job is not as easy as it used to be. It's hard now to get jobs. especially if you don't have like degrees and stuff like that, because those type of jobs anybody can get. So obviously a lot of people are competing for those jobs. And now with all what's going on with the economy and how expensive everything is, people are working 2 and 3 jobs to get by, so like, and especially if depending on what city you live in, if you live in like a big metropolitan city where there's a lot of people and obviously there's a lot of competition, or if you live in a small city where the population is not real big, so jobs are not as plentiful because the population is not real big. Yeah, the world is very different, Erica. The world is very different. And when I say different, y'all, back then really wasn't that long ago. I'm talking 15 years ago. Yeah, but that's really not, I'm not talking 1990, 1995. Maybe I'm talking like 2010. not really that long ago. That's not really eons ago, if you really think about it. And how, just from the pandemic that happened in 2020, like the world changed, and that was just 5 years ago? The world changed drastically from the pandemic 5 years ago. In 5 years, stuff just changed, just overnight, literally. So it was all type of fast food places on that street. If one job is not working out, then apply for other jobs. Do not stay where you are unhappy. I don't even think she was unhappy. Afina obviously didn't like for people to tell her anything. That's obvious, right? It appears, let me say that, it appears that she didn't like for anybody to redirect her behavior. Okay, it appears that she took that as possibly bullying, because me sending you home early from work, I wouldn't necessarily call that bullying. I would call that my bottom dollar, because obviously that wasn't the decision of the manager, Jennifer. That was probably coming from her higher ups. One moment, y'all. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. Like I said, it's a very sad story, because I would like to know where this lady is, where she's from, Afina, where she's actually from, because one of you guys just said that she worked at a Taco Bell in Virginia. Where is she from? Where is her family? What led her to Detroit? Why was she in Detroit? Where's her actual family? I haven't seen anything where her family spoke out about what's going on. So it's happening a lot. It's time to look for another job, not take it out on your manager. But again, we're talking rational versus irrational. Exactly. To even come up with that rationalization of, okay, this is not working out. I'm not getting the hours that I need to survive. Let me go find me another job. She obviously wasn't in that state of mind, because had she been, she wouldn't have made the decision she made that morning to come back and take this woman's life. Because at the end of the day, you took somebody's life. Like, you took somebody's life because she was doing her job. At the end of the day, the manager was doing her job. She had to make sure that they didn't go over hours versus the sales. And she was, because she wasn't even scheduled to work that day, Jennifer allowed her. See, that's the thing. If she was bullying you, why did she allow you to come into work on your off day to make up hours from days past where you were sent home? If she was bullying you, why would she allow you to do that? Like, if she had some vendetta against you, then she would have allowed you to do that, right? So this was your off day. You came in, you weren't even supposed to be on the schedule, but she let you come in, and I guess it wasn't busy. So she was probably more than likely like, well, you weren't even scheduled anyway. I know I said you could come in and make up some hours, but we're not busy. I'm gonna have to send you home. More than likely, obviously, as we can see now, Afina was upset behind that because she needs her money. Well, see, that's when you go find you another job. Like if McDonald's is if you like working fast food, because it sounds like she worked at Taco Bell. If Burger King's, Chick-fil-A, hell, IHOP, I mean, there's Jack's. It's plenty of fast food restaurants. But now she's going to have to work in the kitchen at the damn prison. Okay, that's where she's going to have to work at now. Some managers do need their A whooped. We have all met those type of people. Not saying this manager was like that. Exactly. I don't know what this manager is like. We have met, and I think that's the conversation because we all, and even like I say, even with me being in situations where I've been micromanaged by managers, supervisors, and I didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable. I didn't like the situation I was put in. But never in my life did I think to come unalive that person. Now, never in my life did I think to do that because I know I have a life. And in my mind, I know this is not the only job. Just like I got this job, I can get another one. Just like I had a job before this job, I can get another one after this job. Like that was my mentality. But again, that's my mentality. That's not saying that's the mentality of everybody. That's true, Shanta's journey. If we unalive everyone who Billy does, we'd be serial killers. This was insane. Well, yeah. I mean, you at the end of the day, you have to learn how to deal with adversity. And y'all, that's the unfortunate thing with being in the workforce. You have to learn how to deal with adversity. You have to learn how to deal with people and their personalities. Every job is not going to be a dream job. You're going to unfortunately deal with people that you don't get along with, you don't agree with, because even here in the break room, and this is a social media platform, but even here in the break room, there are times where we are having discussions and you guys are in the chat and y'all don't agree with each other, right? But y'all are not waiting, and I'm saying this figuratively, y'all not waiting for the break room to end and catch somebody in the parking lot. You just, you learn to agree to disagree and you move on, but you learn that with maturity, y'all. With maturity, you learn that. And let's be honest, there are some people that are in their 50s and are not mature. Just, they don't have that capability. So we have to deal with attitudes on our job and deal with people we do not care for, but there's no excuse for taking a person's life. No, there's not. She went way too far. Some of these managers are a piece of work, though. Yes, some of them are a piece of work, but we don't know if Jennifer was, y'all, because she's not here to tell the story. I would like to hear from other employees of the McDonald's and what their interaction was with Jennifer. I would really like to hear what the other employees felt about her. But even if they did feel like she wasn't the best manager, that still doesn't mean that Afina had the right to go take that woman's life because she sent her home early. As long as Afina didn't put her hands on her or anything in that nature, nothing egregious, she had no right taking that woman's life. None. She had no right doing that. None. I don't care what anybody says. She did not have the right to do that. Again, also understanding there are managers out there that are very ignorant in how they manage their employees. I agree to that. But my life means more to me because in my mind, I'm just thinking, child, I'm gonna let God handle you. And either I'm gonna keep working this job or I'm gonna go find me another one, or I'm gonna work this job until I find me another one. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna let you steal my glory. Like I had to learn that going to work every day. I had to learn how to not let these people steal my glory. Yeah, it was situations where I would sit in the parking lot of previous jobs I've had. I would sit in the parking lot, y'all, and I would pray before I walked in that building. Like that's how, you know what I'm saying? But even with that being said, I have bills. I got a family to take care of. So I just can't. And then a lot of times you got to also watch people too. when people see the good in you and see they'll pick with you on purpose to get you to feel like you want to quit. You know, a lot of times the devil will intervene and make you think the situation is so bad when God actually got a blessing for you with that job, but you can't see it because the devil too busy playing with your head. So you got to be careful with that too, y'all. And I'm gonna say this: I've had jobs in the past. Now that I sit and think about it, and I've left because of controversy with the manager or supervisor, and I just didn't like being under their direction, and I left that job when I should have stayed where I was at. And I basically talked myself out of my own blessing. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, a lot of times you just gotta learn how to pick your battles, you know, and you can't always run away from situations, you know. And here's the thing: if Afina felt like the manager was bullying her, wasn't treating her fairly, there are levels, there are steps that she could have taken. She could have went to Jennifer's boss. She could have went to regional. She could have called corporate. She could have called HR. There is a lot, instead of calling up TikTok or Instagram and complaining to Instagram, like Instagram can do anything for you. Instagram can't even do nothing for her right now with that $25 million bond. Instead of calling up Instagram, complain. See, that's what's wrong with social media. Y'all get on here and complain. Social media can't help you, honey. If you was having a problem with your boss, not treating it as what you feel fairly, then you should have went above her head and went to her boss and state your grievances. That's how you handle situations. Tasha, on a lot of these jobs, higher up don't care. That's Shalonda. That's not true in all situations. That's not true in all situations. In some situations, that is true, but not in all situations. And at the end of the day, you don't know if they care or not until you say something. You got to always remember, a closed mouth don't get fed. So if you don't state your problem to a higher up, how do they know it's a problem until you tell them? I mean, faith without works is dead. So if you want to make some type of change, you got to follow the typical protocol. Now, is it going to work? Yeah, I don't know, but you don't know until you try. No, you don't always have to show proof for Shalonda. You don't always have to show proof, because a lot of times a verbal situation there is no proof. So you don't have to always show proof. You just got to state your grievances, and it's up to management or HR to handle it the way they need to handle it. Because let me tell you something, a lot of these companies are taking these complaints and stuff seriously because of situations like this. Maybe they didn't do that in the past, but there are companies now that are taking HR, complaints to HR much more seriously, because there's a lot of workplace violence happening amongst coworkers. Changing her shift. That would have been that would have worked too. She could have changed her shift. Be under the leadership of another manager or supervisor. I don't push people. Sometimes they just holding on and you don't know it. That's true. I hope your company has some sort of resources for these folks, and also for you to address their issues. Yeah, like I said, y'all, it just really depends on who you are and where you are and what you're trying to do. I can't speak for I can't generalize everybody's situation. My thing is, do what you feel like can work for you. This situation right here, it definitely didn't work for Afina. That's just my opinion. If y'all think differently, you're entitled to do so. But taking this woman's life, the only thing it did was make her go viral. Because prior to her this situation going viral, her Instagram following, she had like 600, 700 people. Child, now she got about 14,000 followers on Instagram. Do she think she had the knowledge to go to corporate? I'm pretty sure she was aware of corporate. I'm pretty sure she knew that she could have went to the higher up. I'm pretty sure she knew that. This wasn't her first job. She had jobs before. What if Jennifer had addressed some concerns to upper management? They didn't address it. It could be the other way around. This lady has 6 kids to feed. Like I said, y'all, unfortunately, Jennifer is deceased and she can't tell her side of the story. I don't know if Jennifer maybe talked to somebody in her family or a friend, or maybe another manager can vouch for Jennifer. Maybe she's had discussions with other managers about Afina and her work ethic at work. Maybe, I don't know. None of these people have spoke out. All this stuff is still very fresh. So we don't know. I'm pretty sure when the trial starts, we'll maybe, get a lot more detail, because obviously a lot of people are going to need to be interviewed, like coworkers, managers, supervisors, and things of that nature. So a lot of people don't even read the employee handbook. Yeah, but you Michelle, you don't have to read the employee handbook. A lot of times when you go to jobs, if there's situations, there's stuff posted especially like at fast food restaurants, there's stuff posted all around, like in the bathroom, in the break room. If there's, if you have some type of grievances or something like that, there's a hotline number, and most jobs have that, and they literally have that posted around the company. Like I said, either in the bathroom or in the break room area. There's stuff that's posted where in the event as an employee, if you need to reach out to employee relations, there's a number is given to you. Okay. So y'all, that's my time. I just wanted to get on here real quick. I didn't want to make this a real long conversation, but I did want to talk about it because it just really disturbed me on both ends. Like I said, being a person who's worked at jobs where I didn't have good relationships with managers and supervisors. And so I get it. I understand feeling defeated in some way. And then, I feel for everybody. I feel for Afina because obviously she was dealing with a lot of things based off her Instagram. She used her Instagram as an outlet. It sounds like her music was an outlet for her. And she definitely was dealing with some inner demons that nobody paid attention to until now, unfortunately. All right, y'all. That's my time. Y'all be good. Y'all be great. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow in the break room. We'll continue on with some mommy conversations, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Remember, sub what you love. Bye.